Good morning. Welcome to Yoga Within and Shape Your Buddha. My name's Dani. This morning, you will need a foam block or a pillow, something that looks like one of these guys. We're going to use it in between our legs, so something a little bit more sturdy. Otherwise, you should be good with just you. And if you don't have anything, honestly, don't worry about it. It's all good. Today we're starting with standing. So find your way into a standing position at the top of your mat. And you decide where you're placing your feet today. Notice, is it together, a little wider apart? What feels good for you this morning? And then just draw your palms together in the center of the chest. If it's comfortable for you to allow the eyes to gently rest closed, allow them to close. If that affects your balance in any way or feels unsafe, leave it out, leave the eyes open. If your eyes are open, just allow them to gently soften. Taking a moment just to connect with your breath. Noticing if you're breathing this morning. And if you are, what's the quality of the breath like? Not judging, just noticing. Your next breath in, you begin to slow the breath down. As you inhale, moving that breath down the body, the belly moves away from the spine. And as you exhale, drawing that belly towards the spine. Continuing to deepen the breath with every inhalation and every exhalation. As you inhale, think about creating length in the body. Noticing, are you using your legs as you stand? And as you exhale, letting go of any tension you're hanging on to, both mentally and physically. And slowly adding some movement back into the body, just shifting your weight from side to side. Blinking the eyes, open and close a few times. And then you decide, does it feel good to have the hands stay here? Or could you take the arms out into a T position, with the palms facing down towards the floor? And then shift your weight into the toes of that right foot, and then put that heel back down, switching over to that left side, lifting the heel off the ground, and just alternate side to side. And then notice, is the movement easy? What's going on through the ankles? Noticing what's happening through the shoulders. See if you can move those shoulders down out of the ears. And could you speed the movement up a bit? And then notice what happened to the breath as you sped up the movement, and see if you can slow that breath back down. Keep those arms reaching out. Really think about extending through the fingertips. Lightly drawing the shoulder blades together. So not an aggressive pull, just lightly. Keep those feet going. And then could you speed it up again? Alternating feet and as fast as you can. And then pause with both heels down on the ground. And then see if you can lift both heels up at the same time. Just checking out the balance, and then lower down slowly. And then up and down. And watching your breath. As we move into this balance, noticing you're holding the breath. Dropping the shoulders down out of the ears, keeping those arms nice and long, reaching through the fingertips. Now see if you can speed that movement up, down. And then notice how the ankles feel, how the ball of the foot feels. And are you using your whole foot to get you up? Or are you only using the toes, and is it hard? Use those legs too. Think about drawing up through those inner thighs, all the way through the top of the head. And then pause here, lower the heels down to the ground. And then give yourself a nice big hug. And then remember what arms on top, and just gently rock from side to side or twist from side to side. Notice how those shoulders feel, open up. And then other arm on top. And then again, shifting side to side. then open those arms, extend them out. And then allow the arms to slowly come down to the side as you start to make some movement through the shoulders, drawing them back, up and down. And just notice how that feels. And then pause and switch directions, going forward, down, or the direction you were just going. And then pause here, lifting that right arm up. See if you can just start to make some circles with it, drawing the arm back, up, and back. Not worrying too much which direction you decide to go first, just notice how that shoulder feels. And then pause the next time you get to the top, and then go the other direction. And now something to notice is the movement coming from the shoulders, or like me, my chest is moving and getting into that movement a bit, and see if you can slow that movement and just get it right into that shoulder. So that arm might not come up as high, that's okay. And then pause, and then slowly lower that arm back down, and then switching over to the other side. So lifting that left arm up, back, and down, up, back, down. And then just noticing the difference from side to side. And again, are your hips and chest sneaking into the movement? And could you slow that movement down so that doesn't happen? Just noticing. And then pause the next time you're at the top and switch directions. Forward, back, up. And then noticing again, are any other parts of the body creeping into the shoulder movement? See if you can keep that isolated just to the arm, just to the shoulder. Just a few more, noticing the difference from side to side. And then pause with the arm up, and then bring up your other arm to mat. And this time, start going forward with both arms, up and around, making circles with both arms. Making really nice big circles. So not worrying about how fast you're going, worry about how, or don't worry really, but just try to get those arms in a big circle. Yeah, no frets if this hurts. We make smaller circles if you need to, but try for the biggest circles you can this morning. And then pause the next time you're at the top, and we'll switch directions. Arms go back, up, and over. And again, noticing what direction felt easier for your shoulders. And as we go backwards, what's going on through the chest? I know mine wants to lift and move a bit, so you can limit that movement and really try to keep it through the arms and the shoulders. And then pause with the arms straight ahead. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, turn the palms out. So the backs of the hands are facing each other. Take a breath in and move the arms all the way back behind you as if you were coming into chest expander. Any of you who know what that is, but don't quite come there yet. Pause as you feel that you have about a few inches away from your hands, and you're drawing those shoulder blades together as tight as you can. And then relax it and round the shoulders all the way forward, moving the arms straight out back in front of you. Backs of the hands touch. And think about getting the tops of the shoulders to touch in front of your chest. Inhale, opening again. Drawing those hands all the way towards each other and stopping just before they touch. And then as you exhale, moving into that, opening the upper back. So not drawing them up into towards the ears, it's just that rounding, opening that space between the shoulder blades. Okay. And keep going with that movement. And then pause when the arms are forward. Drop the arms down and just shake the arms out. So remember that movement. And then take your hands to your hips and step back with the right foot and lunge down. And then step forward and switch legs. Left leg goes back, lunge down, come up. And just not worrying too much about alignment here, just making sure that it feels safe and comfortable for both your hips and knees. Guess your low back is important too, so make sure that that feels safe. And that you're going straight up and down. So just keep alternating sides. And then the next time you finish on that left side, pause forward. Take those arms back up with the backs of the hands facing each other straight out in front of you. Now step back and allow the arms to move back behind you. Come forward And that same action of rounding the arms, or rounding the shoulders forward, drawing those hands together. Switch legs, step back, and then come forward. We'll speed that movement up as you connect these two movements. Back, forward. Keep alternating legs and really see if you can connect with the breath. An inhalation takes the legs and the arms back. Exhalation draws everything forward. And we'll do 3 more to each side. 1, 2, and 3. Last one. And then pause here, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Take the arms all the way up above the head. This time drawing the elbows down to 90 degrees and then moving them down and past that point as you draw the elbows together. So from behind it looks like this. Really making sure that you're not thrusting the ribs forward and moving into a back bend. So just practice this movement a couple times. It's arms reach up to where feels comfortable for you and then draw the shoulder blades together. Okay. And now adding that leg movement in again, same thing. Step back, elbows move in together. Come up, arms reach up. Back, up. And we'll speed that movement up. Exhaling as you go back. And we'll do 5 more times on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come forward. Take your hands down. Put your hands on your hips. And then slowly bend over to the left. Come back up. And then bending over to the right. And then coming back up to center. This time, taking that right foot and crossing it in front of the left. So just notice what feels better for you. If you can, stack heel right in front of those toes. Do that, but if you're finding that it's a little bit of a hard balance day, you might want to move that foot a little further forward, so here, or further across. So play with it. Find where your balance feels the best, and then pause there. Lift that left arm up, and as you exhale, bend. Inhale, coming up, and then switching arms, switching sides. And then one more time to each side. Watching that balance, go slow. Coming up. And one last time, come back up. Now take that front leg, that front right leg, lift that knee up and then turn it out to the side. Keeping that right arm extended up. Side bend, elbow to knee, and then extend everything straight back out. Do that 5 times really nice and slow. 2, 3, watching your breath, 4, and 5. Now 5 really nice and fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one. 5, hold everything up. Take that leg back behind you and all the way across, and then drop down. Come back up, take that leg out, draw it up. No side bend this time. Extend up, take that leg back behind you, lower it down. We'll do one more nice and slow. Take that leg out, draw it back up. And last one, all the way back, all the way down, all the way up. Now you decide, is it a day where that speed was excellent for you? Or is it a day where you could speed that movement up? Down, up, down, up, down, up. Good job. And we'll do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put the leg down, take the arm down, shake everything out, and be really happy we only have 1 more side. So take that left leg this time and cross it in front, or the leg you didn't just do. Take a nice big deep breath in, lift that right arm all the way up, bending to the left. Come back up, switching sides, all the way over. Come up, and then alternate over. Again, watching that balance, moving nice and slow, switching sides 1 more time, and coming up. Lift that arm, this time lift that front left knee, and then draw it out to the side. Bending that elbow and drawing all the way down. Extend all the way up. Again, checking your balance out on this side. It might be different than the other side. Including that side bend. And we got 3 more on this side. 2. And 1 more. And then you decide, fast or slow for these last ones, and we'll do 5 fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Extend up, and then take that leg all the way back and across. Tuck those toes under and drop straight down. Come back up, leg moves out, knee comes up, no side bend. Take that leg back out, down, lower, come up, leg comes out, knee comes up. Last one, nice and slow, back, down, up, together. And then you decide, slow, or could you do 5 more fast? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hold everything out and up. Lower everything down. Shake it out. Take a big deep breath in as you lengthen everything up. Exhale. Forward fold. And you decide what feels good for your forward fold. I'm going to step my feet about hip width apart and then grab my elbows and just rock side to side. If that's not what feels good for you today though, just move to the forward fold that feels the best for you. Pause at center if you are wavering side to side, and then slowly curl on up. Bring the shoulders up into the ears, back and down. Lifting the arms up or into a T position. You decide what feels more comfortable for your shoulders today. Try both. And then shift your weight. We'll all start on that left foot, lifting the right leg up. Take that foot behind you like we just did. Bend down so that knee comes down to the ground, and then sit back and down. So it's a little wobbly on the way down if you're me this morning. That's okay. And then see if you can come right back up. Come up, and then foot down. Switching sides. Other leg, take it back, cross down, sit down, and then come all the way back up the exact same way you just got down. We'll do 2 more to each side. Crossing over, down, sit down, come all the way up, cross, and switch sides. Down. Really trying your best not to use your hands if you can. 1 more to each side. Tuck, down, come up. And last one. Good job, guys. This one's brain exercise. And balance. And then once you're up to standing, let the arms lower, shake it all out. And then take your arms in front of you. And then let's squat down. So take the hands to the hips. Move the feet about hip width apart. And then just bend from the knees like you're going to sit down in a chair. And then come straight back up. And then bend. And come straight back. And then do that 2 more times, just playing with it, noticing what's going through the knees and the hips. And then come up to standing and grab that fun wooden block we talked about. So that block comes either high up past the knees, or it's just above the knee, but right now, don't have that block right in between the knees. You'll get a weird internal rotation if you try to squeeze it there. So higher or lower. I like to wedge that block up high, high, high. So imagine that you wouldn't want someone else putting it there. Try to get it up that high. Now, take those feet and root them into the ground again. So start by lifting all 10 toes, and then press your big toes down, lift them up, press your big toe and your pinky toe down, lift the middle 3 up, and then lift them up, all 10 toes up again, and then from the pinky toe side, lower 1 toe at a time, and trying your best not to make dinosaur hands. And then once those toes are down, just kind of squeeze the mat with the toes a little bit, and then shift your weight back and forward. And just find where you feel centered. Arms come forward. Now sit back as if you were sitting on the chair, but at the same time, squeeze that block, and then come all the way back up to standing. And then drop down and squeeze that block, come all the way up. As you squeeze the block, a couple things you might be noticing in the body is that your legs are working. That low belly core area is lightly engaged, and it's moving back towards the spine. So keep going. And then pause the next time you're down. Take your hands in at heart center and press those palms together. Take a breath in, and on your next breath out, start to twist over to the right. Watch that your hips aren't winging out to the side. Come back to the center, and then over to the other side. Back to center. This time, hinge forward from the hips just a little bit further, and then move your elbow to the opposite side. Come back to center, all the way over to the other side. Back to center. Extend those arms straight out. If you drop a little lower, and a little lower, and then press into the feet. Squeeze that block as you come up to standing. Take the hands down, lift that right arm up, and bend over to the left. Come back up to center, switch sides. Over. So do that sequence one more time. Reach those arms straight out. Squeeze that block, drop straight back down. Draw the palms together at heart center. Really press into those hands as the elbows draw out, the shoulders move down. Twisting, keeping the chest up this time. Moving back to center, over to the other side. Back to center. Hinge from the hips, send the butt way back. Belly button moves towards the spine. Exhale, twisting, elbow to the opposite knee. And then switch sides. Over to the other side. Connecting with that breath if you can. Coming back to center. Arms reach out, drop down. And this time, hands come to the shins or to the ground, and the legs straighten as you come into whatever forward fold feels good for you. Keep the block there if you can. If you need and you absolutely have to get rid of it, by all means do. Otherwise, coming into a forward fold. Taking the hands flat down on the ground, so bending the knees as much as you need to get them there, walking them slightly forward, and then walk the feet back inch by inch, keeping that block there as you come into plank. Perfect. So as you come into plank, a couple things you don't want to see are your head dropping down, your hips dropping down, or your elbows locked. So find that place where wrists, elbows, shoulders can be in line. Top of the head is nice and long. And there's a nice long line from that top of the head all the way to the back of the heels. Breathe here, squeeze that block. Nice big deep breath in, nice big deep breath out. Keep connected with all of those large parts of the body. Breathing, really using those legs. Nice and strong. Imagining that you're creating a nice straight line all through the front side of the body and back side of the body. And finally, knees drop down, toes point back. Take that block and just set it just off to the side, somewhere where you can still reach it. We're not quite done with that guy yet. Send the sit bones all the way back towards the heel, coming into a wide leg child's pose. So moving those knees slightly wider apart and allowing the belly to relax in between the legs. Breathe here. Inhale, coming all the way back up into that plank position. So however you get there, and if you know that it's a day for half plank, that's fine too. Knees down on the ground. Do what you can today. All right. So adding some movement into your plank, your option is always to just hold that plank that we were just doing. Otherwise, could you start to move your hands around? So play with moving them wider apart and then moving them closer together. Wide apart, closer together, and then maybe forward. But as you move them forward, don't stick the butt up. We're not moving into downward dog, okay? And then back, and then out to the sides again, and then forward. And then this time, maybe you can go down onto the elbows and then back up. Try that 2 more times. Down onto the elbows, all the way back up. Let the hips move, that's okay. And then find just that normal straight plank for you. And now push back to downward dog. Give yourself a nice walking dog here. And then knees drop down, keeping the toes tucked. Walk those hands all the way back towards the knees as you sit back onto your heels. And just from here, bringing the hands together and just making some circles with the wrists. Pause, go the other way. You can figure out how to go the other way. My brain's having a little bit of struggles with that this morning. And then just shake out the wrists. All right, so we are going to do plank again. Your options are still that moving arms or follow along, or you can take a break and leave it out. So hands come right underneath those shoulders again. Stretch those legs back. Then draw your right knee in towards the chest and lower it down. And then same thing, alternating side to side. Go slow to start. Don't worry about how fast. Worry about the quality of movement. Getting that weight back. Try not to drop your head. Your belly button's still there, I promise. Keep going. Nice and slow. And then pause. Options are to take a break and come down, or if you feel that you could keep going, or take a break and come back into it, then move a little bit faster. Alternating. Knee in, leg out. Nice strong arms, don't drop the head. And then pause. Regular plank, knees down, toes back, send that bottom all the way back towards the heels, relaxing that low back. Coming all the way back up onto the hands and knees. This time, drop the hips down towards the ground into a gentle, modified upward dog, and then back to that child pose. Do that 2 more times. Your options are to cat-cow instead. Up, lifting the chest, lift the gaze if you can. And then tuck everything back. 1 more time. Drop down, lift up, and then find that neutral spine. We are doing one last plank. I promise this is the last one we'll do together today. So your options, again, are to do anything that we just did previously, have a nap, or try this one. Stretch your legs out again. And then this time, move the feet out wide, and then bring them back in. Out, out, in, out, in. And again, keep going with that. Or maybe it's a day where you could jump them out, drop them in. Out, in, in. Breathing. Again, don't drop the head. Belly button's still there, I promise. Keep going. And legs together, pause. Hold that plank. Knees drop down, toes tuck, and move your hands back so you're sitting on those heels again. And then just bring some movement into the shoulders. And then go the other way. Stretch those arms out, and then give yourself a nice big hug, just like we did at the beginning of class, and then shake it out. And again, remember what arm's on top. Open them up nice and wide. Other arm on top. And then shake it out. Perfect. And then shake out the wrists. Really let those guys relax. And then come forward. Tap into those toes a bit. And then walk yourself so you're a little bit more centered on your mat. So your knees are hitting about the center line of your mat. Tuck your toes. Come back, grab that block. Can you take it in the hands and put it in between the hands? And then have one knee come up, then the other knee come up. Move your feet so they're in line, coming into a squat. Or maybe you can just pop up into a squat. You decide where you're at today, and then hold here for a second. Lift up nice and tall through the top of the head. Slowly pressing into the hands, could you turn to one side? And as you turn to one side, could you keep the block going, but keep the elbows lifted? Bring it back to center. Come all the way back, and move over to the other side. So twisting, lifting through the top of the head, and then again, sliding that block all the way towards that back shoulder, keeping both elbows up, moving that block back to the center of the chest, moving your whole torso back to center, and then stretch the arms out. Drop the heels down and drop the sit bones down. Maybe that doesn't happen quite as gracefully for you. Just make sure you safely come to a seated position. From here, set the block in between the knees with the short end facing straight up. So it's quite long in between the knees, like this, not like this. Then walk your heels so they're quite close, so not directly underneath the ankles, but not way far out either. Kind of that nice middle ground here. And then lift up nice and tall. Reach those arms forward and slightly lean. Now, keeping that action that we had at the beginning of class where we move those arms all the way back, keep that action this time. Take your fingertips down to the ground and allow those whole palm to come to the ground. Now, adjust here. You decide, is it a day where the arms need to be apart, or do they feel better closer together? Press into the feet, press into the hands, lift the hips up towards the ceiling. As you come down, think about sending the sit bones back in between the hands, okay? For me, I know now that my hands are a little too close together, so I'm gonna come back up, move my hands a little wider apart, and we'll redo that one. And you might have the opposite experience where the hands were too wide apart and you need to move them closer together. Play with how your shoulders feel today, and then come back, using those heels, lifting up, and then come back up. Do that 3 more times. So really make sure that you're comfortable. Don't be afraid to adjust in this one. Shoulder safety comes first. 2 more. Lift up through the chest. Last one. And we'll finish up. From here, sit bones drop straight down to the ground. Lift up. And then just hug those knees in towards the chest, making the spine as long as you can, and the chin tucks towards the chest. Maybe if you have a very flexible back, your forehead comes to the block, but really don't lose that length through the back. Coming back up, this time, walking those heels slightly away from you. Keeping the block where it is. If it's shifted at all, just readjust it. And then reach those arms straight out in front of you. Now, start to go back. As you go back, though, make sure you're not holding the breath. And then come back up. This time, as you go back, squeeze the block like you're trying to get your knees together or put dimples in the side of the block. Inhale, come up. And exhale, come back down. Again, squeezing that block. Could you come down a little lower maybe? Draw the shoulders out of the ears. Lift up, come up. And now we're speed that movement up. And again, as the movement speeds up, the breath speeds up. Super important for this one. So if you need to keep it slow, keep it slow. 1, we'll do 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Come all the way up. And again, lengthening forward. So drawing those heels in again, interlacing those hands in front of the shin, lengthening that spine. Chin moves down towards the chest, keeping that length. Coming back up, taking those hands open and all the way behind you again. Okay. Now this time, press up. And this time you actually may want the hands slightly closer together than you had them the last time. And if you don't remember where that was the last time, that's perfectly fine. Just making sure that there's kind of reverse of tabletop. This time, instead of dropping the hips back and down, it's a bend through the elbows. So sending those hips up still and bend the elbows as the torso will naturally lower. So don't think about dropping the butt and then come back up. Elbows bend, come back up. Elbows bend, up. And we'll do 5 more. 1, 2, 3. Watch those elbows drawing out to the side. And last one, squeeze all the way up. Sit bones come down. Lift all the way up. And again, interlace those hands in front of the shin, creating that nice long spine. Chin tucks in towards the chest. Lifting the head back up. This time, walking those heels forward. Your options are to do exactly what we just did the last time. Or maybe it's a day where you feel that you could lift one leg. Or maybe even both legs. So I have to readjust my block a bit as I move up. So don't be afraid to readjust yours if you're noticing it's kind of pinching your knees weird. Don't let that happen. It's not a good feeling. You don't want it. So readjust that block. Otherwise, if you can, I'm only going to cue for both legs up. Both legs up. And then you decide. Point the toes. Flex the feet. Point, flex, point, flex, point, flex. And if you're me, your hands follow along. That's okay. And then lift up. And then reach through the fingertips. Lift up through the chest. Find where that is for you. I like my feet flex better. I get better leg control, but that might be a different story in your body. So find those toes. Lift up nice and tall through the chest. Hold here and breathe. Nice strong breath. We'll do 5 breaths. 1, 2. Keep lifting. Everything's engaged. 4. And 5. Heels lower slowly down. Inhale, lift up. This time, keep the knees away from you as you round forward, really drawing the shoulders towards each other. So notice that they did move up towards my ears. They move towards each other in front of my chest. Chin tucks in towards the chest. Inhale, come up. Roll those shoulders back and down. And we won't move back into any more of those, guys. We'll just move into the next version of our Navasana. So again, any of the 2 we just did, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, get those legs up. You can do this one with the heels down on the ground as well. Take your hands and interlace them together. I like to kind of interlace them and have the one hand extended with my thumbs touching. It helps draw the shoulders, my shoulders down out of my ears. So if you can, try that, guys. And then flex to the feet, lift up through the chest, turn. Come back to the center and go over to the other side. Come back, over, up, back, up, and then pause at center. Could you lower the legs? Lift everything up. Last one, lower the legs, lift everything up, release the hands down, take the block out, lower the legs, lift up, drop your right knee right and your left knee left. Foot soles come together, and then lean forward. Chin tucks in towards the chest. Inhale, slowly curling on up. Draw those legs back together. Hands come down, and then just slowly lower yourself down onto the ground, whatever way is comfortable for you. Bring the knees in towards the chest and just rock from side to side. Notice how that back feels. Then draw the right knee in towards the chest. Take that left hand to the right knee. Just take that knee across the body. That left hand can either be on the low back or extended straight out from the shoulder. Come back to the center. Extend both legs out along the mat. Shake it out. And then switch sides. All the way over. And then you decide, hand on low back, hand straight out. What feels good for you? Come back to the center. Shake the legs out here. And then just move the hands down at your sides. Take a nice big deep breath in and tighten everything as tight as possible. And then exhale, relax the body. Do that one more time. Tighten and relax. As you find your way into a shavasana that works for you, notice if it's a day where you might need legs up the wall, knees bent, what feels good. And then just pause where that is and allow the breath to relax. Feel the body completely supported by the ground beneath you. The mind is still and quiet. Breath feels easy and smooth. I invite you to stay in Shavasana a little longer, or however long it is you need today. But otherwise, taking those hands in at heart center, gathering all that positive energy you've created for yourself this morning, being grateful for this time, grateful for all that we're fortunate enough to have and not have. Thank you guys so much for sharing your morning with me. Namaste. And then don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this class with a friend. Have a good day, guys.